Welcome to Geldon Poultry Farm, Kismayo. If you haven't subscribed, kindly hit the subscribe button and click the notification button so that I will send you a notification every time I upload a new video. This is part 2 of the construction of a simple unit, and today we fit the equipment into the house. There we go. When you import the cages, ensure that the feeding troughs are plastic. Very important because the metallic feeding troughs do rust. Ensure that the cages are galvanized and ensure that they have adequate spacing so that they meet the international animal rights standard. When assembling the cages, ensure that you maintain a straight line. This is because when you're doing the fixing of the feeders, if the cages are not straight, then they end up breaking. Or if the cages are not straight, the pipes that convey water into every cage using the nipples do bend or fold, and they then have airlock. Now, the major problem of airlock is water is not evenly supplied to the whole system. When birds don't get water, then automatically they die, and it's very, very difficult for one to understand if some birds in some cages are not getting water. Therefore, maintaining a very even and straight line when doing the cage assembly is very, very important. Ensure that the spacing in between the cages is adequate. One can walk freely. This also enhances air circulation in that the birds in the middle line of the cages, or rather in the cages that face each other, are not so much exposed to harsh conditions. Assembly of cages is very important. Ensure that your cages are heavy, good quality, that is the heavy duty, and they are galvanized. Galvanized in a sense that the chicken poop contains uric acid. And the uric acid is so corrosive, it corrodes the cages and then they end up rusting and breaking. It is also good to ensure that the cages are firmly held together. The cages have loops, others have got hooks, others are tied with bolts or nuts. Ensure that you do tight joints so that the cages can be firmly held together. This is because the bird's weight is so heavy. You can imagine a cage breaking in the middle of the line, or rather in the middle of the tier. What happens to the feeders? The feeders automatically break. What about the water system? It is then also affected. Now, when one cage is affected, then it affects the entire tier, or rather the entire tire, which is quite a problem. This will affect your production in a way that the production will drop. So when you see that the cages are straight, you can see now fitting the feeders is so easy and you maintain a straight line. You also help save on breaking or breakages of the feeders. The work is also neat in the long run. Ensure that the joints of the wires are quite in angles that the chicken legs cannot stick in between the legs. It is very, very important to maintain an even, smooth flow and maintain the angle. The angle should be a bit slopey, whereby when the bird lays an egg, it rolls out by itself, okay? So that you can easily pick the eggs from outside. It can also reduce egg eating characteristics in that the birds cannot easily come in contact with their eggs. It is very, very, very important then to ensure that the house is completely sealed. We then go ahead and fix the doors. This is a very technical step. Ensure that the main door is at least 2.5 meters. You can make the door either using wood or you can make using metal or iron sheet. In our case, we use wood or we use timber. You can see our main door is 3 meters wide. This helps in a way that should we want to put heavier equipment, or rather should we want to bring cages into the structure, it is easy to pass through the door. Also, during activities such as debaking, we are forced to use tables, or rather during activities such as dusting the birds when they are affected by ectoparasites, we are forced to bring in huge tables or huge drums that we use for soaking or bathing the chicken to control the ectoparasites. When the door is small, then this is a huge inconvenience. We also recommend quite bigger doors in that it enhances a smoother and easier way of bringing eggs out of the flock house. Small doors are always discouraging in a way that one has to really struggle to get out of the unit with a carton box of eggs, and this could bring breakages. Ensure that the doors open from outside. Opening from outside means that the cage or the lines of the cages next to the door, you understand that they are so close to the wall. The distance between the wall and the cage is always at most 1.5 meters. And I did mention that our doors should be at least 3 meters wide. Ensure that the doors are partitioned, or rather are divided into 2 or 3 pieces so that they can easily open or be opened by somebody. Very, very important. Ensure that you also have a firm door that opens smoothly. Doors that open with difficulty bring some noise, and anything in form of noise or external distraction could cause stress to the birds, and that's what we are trying to ensure, that we avoid or reduce stress to the highest level. Okay, and ensure that you seal all the gaps that could force a predator to come from outside into the flock house, okay, such as cats and the bushtails. These are quite dangerous to the birds. They will either eat the birds or they will induce a lot of stress. Should your system be automated or semi-automated in that you're using manure scrappers, ensure that the manure scrappers fit inside the manure holes below the cages. They should be fitting in a way that they touch the other wall to the other wall, but leaving some small gap, or rather 2 to 3 inches on either side to enhance a smooth flow. Then finally, paint the house inside with either white paint, or you can paint it with white out. Go ahead and build a footbath. It should be wide, covering the door from end to end in a way that somebody cannot bypass the footbath. It should also have a tap that will be used to flushing out the dirty or the contaminated water. This house has been separated into 2. This wide space will be used as a brooder.